And so, I mean, you're breathing 25,000 times a day. If you stop breathing in a matter of minutes, you'll die. It's like the atomic unit of what we need to survive. And so most people, breathing patterns, as per James Nestor, have changed significantly. 90% of people have breathing dysregulations, which you can test pretty easily, but our environments have changed. As I mentioned before, fight or flight is always triggered. And when fight or flight is triggered, it's like you look at that Slack message, you get nervous, your heart rate increases, you start breathing from your chest, you're turning on the fight or flight part of the nervous system, right? When you're eating acidic food, so your Uber Eats before bed, you need to correct your pH balance. Your body becomes more alkaline by breathing out more carbon dioxide. So you overbreathe through your mouth again. And so changes in our diet, our sedentary nature, our stimulation have really destroyed breathing patterns. And why that's a problem, because it determines how much oxygen is actually absorbed in the tissues and brain. So it can affect, like, if you're having problems sleeping, if you're having problems with energy and fatigue, problems with anxiety, a lot of times it can be you're over breathing, and simply like holding your breath can make a huge change in those things. And there's just massive amounts of people reporting issues with anxiety. So that's one thing. It's just like most people are breathing poorly now more so than ever. Now, the second is like, we talked about meditation and its challenges. Meditation is really about awareness, as I said before, kind of watching your thoughts, what's happening in between your thoughts. Breathwork is changing your nervous system state. Through your breathing, you can control digestion, circulation, immune system response, emotional response. And so it's using music and breathing and certain patterns to change state. And many people are like, I don't really know how to look at my thoughts. It's a difficult thing. Like, I'm just thinking, nothing's happening, where everybody knows how to breathe. And so you mentioned, like, in 4 minutes, you can change your state. And what do I mean by that? So there's really 3 things we use breathwork for. One is like, we call it up. And we've made it super simple to use on our app. And in under 10 minutes and under 5 minutes, you can go up. So think of that as pushing the gas pedal on the nervous system. You can think of it as like, I need a coffee. I'm procrastinating. I want like a boost of energy. I want some inspiration. I want to create. Bam, you go up. People know that as like Wim Hof, holotropic, transformational. There's plenty of names for this, breath of fire, but it's just turning the nervous system up. Second is turning the nervous system down. And so, that's moving into the parasympathetic rest and digest state. That's the state we're in when we're eating food, we're cuddling, we're eye gazing, we're having sex, like all these beautiful things where we find meaning and emotion. And so this is the state where high-powered entrepreneurs are like, I've totally left this state for dead. And so this is like coherent breathing, box breathing, long, slow exhales. And so one example, we'll just do it now, is if you put a hand on your belly and chest, and you just do a nice slow breath in through the nose. And a nice long exhale, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And you notice the long, slow exhale, when you're breathing deep into the lungs, there's the nerves that trigger the parasympathetic nervous system to turn on. So that long, slow exhale and breath retention, so slow breath holds. If you're ever having a panic attack, the best thing you can do is just like long 10, 15-second exhales for 3 breaths and little holds, 5-second holds at the bottom. And you can do that in, 60 to 90 seconds and totally change your state, your nervous system state. And so we're teaching people to go up, to go down. And then the third is like explore. And this is when, if you go up long enough for more than 10 minutes, I was telling you, we'll do a session at the end of the show that's maybe like a mini up that's kind of 10, 11 seconds that we can share. But what you're doing, your blood vessels are constricting and you're slowing the flow of oxygen to the brain. And as a result, the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for the executive function, this thought process, like why meditation can be hard is, you stop and it's just thoughts and thoughts and thoughts and your mind's going crazy. It provides space from those thoughts. And when that part of the brain is shut down, emotions tend to come up and be processed. And so we call that explore. And that's like having an anti-anxiety or a MDMA or psilocybin or some type of like mini psychedelic experience that's going to get you to feel and release. And so I had people doing these that, wouldn't leave their house for 6 months during COVID, like not even like to go to the door, to open the door, to order food. We did some of our fear release breathworks over a period of 6 weeks. And then boom, I'm like going outside. I'm getting people calling me crying, like, oh, for the first time, like I've conquered my fear. So it's really beautiful, those sessions for grief, a breakup, job security, any type of like fear and challenging emotions that are sort of stuck. You can think of those as, you're shutting down this like executive function of the mind that doesn't want to be hurt, that's always on, and you're allowing yourself to process these emotions. Can often be super pleasant as well. So you really have, all breath work really boils down to, our breathing is fucked. It's impacting everything you do in your life. And we can change that by going up, down when needed, or explore. And so that's sort of like the triangle why you might want to use breathwork. And then it's accessible, it's fun. The other cool thing we do is you mentioned being busy. And so, for me, when I shut my computer down end of day, first thing I do, 3-minute down breathwork on the app. And I go from fight or flight massively, like we're doing this podcast, I got to be on, I got to say all these things, to like, okay, I'm now ready to go hang out with my wife and like watch some TV. It's just like a transitionary period. It works before sleep. And the final thing we do that's cool is we have a lot of background breathing where you can use it while you're going for a walk or while you're cooking. So the idea is like you're driving to work, you have 10 minutes there, you're cooking up like a little sandwich, or you have some time where you can do these breath works where you're also doing other stuff. As long as you're breathing properly, the state change will happen. It's really trying to fit it into your day, as you mentioned. It's like, yeah, you got 2 kids, you wake up, it's crazy in the morning. Maybe your only time when you're alone is like doing something else.